Welcome to Stretch. Great to have you. Yay! This is so fun. All right, let's begin. You can separate your feet a little wider than hip width apart, something comfortable for you to get into a nice solid foundation of your root system or your legs below you. Feel like you're sinking into the earth. We'll start by taking our hands on our hips and just do some really slow and gentle hip circles here. Moving through the range of motion of the hips. You're looking good out there. It's a big challenge to slow things down, isn't it? Let's reverse direction. And see if you can get your breath to flow with your movement. Inhaling forward, exhaling back. Wonderful. Notice the movement in the spine. Engaging with the movement of the hips. And then come back to the center and let your arms relax next to your side. And give your hands a little shake. And bounce a little bit in the heels, shake things out. And we'll do something called wagging the dog's tail as your shoulders tip to one direction, hips tip to the other. And just get this sense of nice fluid movement in the hips and the shoulders, waking up the spine. Yeah, and if you want to add some shoulder rolls here, it's always good, opening up the chest. Something moving. Great, and then we'll take and post our weight into the leg. I'm going to create a couple landmarks for you. Here's the orchid side of the room, and then we have the, we'll call it the candle side of the room. And I want to have you post your weight into the leg closest to the candle. And then take the foot that's free, lift up the heel, slide that foot back a little bit. And we'll create some little stirs with that. Point the toe like you're drilling a hole into the earth with the big toe. Just create some spiral energy up the leg. And this will free up some energy and circulation in the ankle and the knee and the hip. That's right. And challenge your balance as well. Reverse direction. Great. And we'll add a little stretch for the fascia on the top of the foot by turning the toes back. Put a little pressure on the top of the foot and be gentle now as you sink into that. It can be really tender for some of us to stretch that. And then release that leg with a kick, like you're kicking sand off your big toe. That's the way. And then post the weight in the leg closest to the orchid. As you do so, you can lift the opposite heel, slide that foot back, and create some little stirs here. I'm going to visually see this as a spiraling energy, moving up the ankle into the knee and hip. Reversing direction. Good. Seeing spiral energy helps to move fluid through tissues. We want to create that sense of moving fluid through the tissue, and then press the top of the foot down, sink a little weight into that if it feels good and safe, stretching the fascia, and kick that leg out and shift your weight from side to side. Good. Notice how the shifting of the weight of the legs from side to side creates a movement in the shoulders from side to side. Now we'll add a little bit of a challenge for the brain here. As we shift our weight to the orchid side of the room, let the arms float towards the candle side of the room, and then do the opposite. And shift your gaze to follow your hands, and that creates a little bit of movement up the spine into the cervical vertebrae. Good. Be careful of those knees. Watch that your knees are supported. Now we're adding the hip circles in with this. As we shift our weight into the leg, shift the arms in the opposite direction, press the hips back and the arms forward, and sweep back to the other position and drop the arms. Good. Shift the legs, shift the arms, sweep the arms forward towards me, hips away. And create a circle back to the beginning. Good, 2 more in this direction. Reaching through circles with the upper and lower body. Creating circulation. So you think about circle, the word circle, and the word circulation. Having complementary effects. Go the other way. Hips back, arms forward, circle. And again. Add the breath movement in that supports you. See if you can create a synchronicity or a synchronization of breath and movement. One more. Come around. Nice, and shake a little bit. Anything that's gotten stuck in the joints, we're going to shake it out. And then bring your arms forward. Take the palm closest to the orchid, bring it towards the heart, and let the opposite palm cover. From here, we'll press out, extend the arm out, and you're pushing the back of the hand into the palm of the opposite hand, getting a nice stretch on the top of the wrist. Feel it? Feel it? Yeah. Wonderful. Now draw the elbow back, scrub the ribs with the elbow, and let the fingers of that hand point down to earth as you press those fingers into the fingers of the opposite hand and stretch the underside of the wrist. Yum. And then draw the elbow back, point the fingers up to sky and push into those opposite fingers. Keep coming at me. Keep coming. Reach the arm up. Now clasp those fingers and we'll take it into a tricep stretch. Feel along the side body. And then extend the arms, push. Draw the arms back to the center, and let's do the other side. Hand closest to the candle comes in, closest to the heart, and then extend the arms, push out, and create resistance as you pull back on the knuckles. Feel a stretch on the top of the wrist. Scoop under with the elbow forward, with the fingers pointing down, stretch the underside of the wrist. And one more time, scoop back, turn those fingers to point to heaven, come forward, keep coming, all the way up and over the head. Clasp the fingers and come into a side bend. Great, side bends are excellent for moving lymph fluid. Let's push the arm up and the arm down and come back and create a circle, and then take the hands to the opposite shoulders. Good. Create a little bit of self-massage by rubbing these lung points underneath the collarbone. Creating a little bit of circulation here in the lungs. Good. Now releasing the hand closest to the orchid, drop down and keep holding the opposite hand to the front of that shoulder, and we'll do arm circles. So as we reach the arm back, we want to push into that lung point, creating some stimulation in that acupressure point for the lungs. Great. I just learned something yesterday in my acupuncture session, is that the thyroid in Chinese medicine is considered the umbrella to the lungs. Found that really interesting, so I'm going to have to research it. Good. So lungs being really important right now. We keep having them come up. Now go the other way with the COVID and now with smoke from fires. Really want to protect the lungs. They're the first organ, the first internal organ to be exposed to outside air, the only internal organ system being exposed to the outside. So protection here is key. One more time in this direction. Keep pushing into that point. Good, warming up the shoulder. And then take the arm up and over to the opposite shoulder. Release the opposite arm and let's take it back. Notice there's a bend in the elbow here. So we're not hyperextending the elbow. Keeping a bend, and notice we're creating more circles. Circling with the fingers into that lung point. Circling with the arm. And seeing circles that we make with our arms, creating more circulation. Good. We're trying to bring blood flow from the torso out into the limbs. So when we go to stretch, we have more blood flow and heat. Now reverse direction. Keep pushing in. Notice that shoulder wants to round forward. See if you can use your opposite hand to keep it in that shoulder girdle. Good. Use your inhale to come back. And your exhale to come forward. Do that 2 more times. Moving slow. Great. And then release the hand, bring it onto the opposite shoulder. We'll bring those elbows up. And then bring the arms and sweep them down. Bring the hands to the lower navel. Now from here, we'll extend the arms, take the hand closest to the orchid and cross over the wrists. Interlace the fingers. We'll bring the hands down next to the navel and then lift the hands up, elbows wide. Feel the stretch again on the wrists. Drop the arms. Now when straight arms come out and over the head, getting a nice extension up the front of the spine. Take the hands behind the head and pull those elbows back. And then press the arms out, flexing through the wrists. Great. Now, squeeze your fingers together, point your fingers down to the earth, put your thumbs in the center, create little hooks with the hands. Take your right ear to your right shoulder. Here's the mirror image for you. Come to the center, inhale, and do the opposite side. Stretching the sideline of the neck, stretching the tendons of the arms. Bring your head center and release your arms down. Take a big circle up and over, stretching the chest. Bring the arms forward, the hand closest to the candle, crossing the wrists, interlace the fingers. Draw the arms down, pull the elbows up, just as high as is comfortable on your wrist. Try to keep your shoulders low as you do that. Draw the arms down. Good. With a nice bend in the knees, sweep the arms up straight and back. And then straighten the legs and move into extension. Bring the hands behind the head. Pull the elbows back and release the arms. Good. Again, squeeze your fingers together. This time turn the fingers up and create little hooks. And do the same thing, ear to shoulder. Stretching lines of tension in the neck. Coming center and alternate. Then coming center and releasing the arms behind the back this time. Fingers interlace. Draw the shoulders back, expand the chest. And then exhale, bend the knees and bring your hands on your knees. And if you want to walk your feet in a little closer, you can do that. We'll do some little knee circles here. I'm going to check and see if somebody's unmuted and take care of that while you do that. Be really gentle with those knee circles. And let's see who else has joined us. Welcome, everyone. If I didn't get a chance to say hello, I'm Cyndi. I'm subbing for Colby today. She's safe. She's in the mountains visiting and spending time with her family. So just want you to know that. If you came in late, we're going to do about a 40 to 45 minute class today. And yeah, if you haven't already, reverse direction with your knee circles, do that. And then we'll slide our hands down to the ankles if you're able to touch your toes. Great. If you need to bend your knees to do that, perfect. You can also use a block or any kind of prop that will support you here. And let's heel toe walk our feet apart like we're going into a horse stance. This time we'll turn the toes in and the heel out. And that creates a nice opening across the back of the sacrum. So as we internally rotate our hips, we open the back body. And then if it's safe for you to walk your hands back a little bit to the inline position between the arches, and then draw your head down, do that. And you can also bend your knees slightly for this. And we want to start to bring our attention to the back of the legs. Good, sinking into the hips a little bit with the knees bending and straightening, just to feel what's there in the hamstrings. Noticing through sensation how the body is giving us guidance into our limitation and our edges, and meeting those limitations with respect. Let's walk both hands over to the candle side of the room and take a side lunge here. There we go. Try to keep the knife edge of the foot on the floor. It's easy to want to collapse that arch in. Let's see if we can keep pushing into the knife edge and lift the arch on that extended leg. And then walk the hands back to the center, and without pausing, exhale and go to the other side. Now, as we lift the arch on the extended leg, we feel a nice inner thigh stretch. Keep pushing the hips back. You lengthen the crown of the head forward towards me. And let's do that one more time, practicing with the breath. Rise up on the inhale to center. Exhale into your side bend. Rise up on the inhale. Try to practice moving with the breath. As we coordinate our breath and our movement, we bring all our energy into a single pointed focus. Come back to the center, and because I want to be moving in this direction to move into my plank position, I'm going to turn into a lunge here and let my back knee come to the floor. And I'm going to just gently ride that warm up here on that forward leg. Now, if you need extra padding for your knee, you can double up your mat. It's a kind thing to do for the knees. And we'll just rock forward and back a couple times here. Say hello to the hamstring. And you can keep rocking forward or back, or you can pause right here and sit back a little for a static stretch. Deepening our breath and our awareness. And then bring it back into a lunge. Good. Let's step back into a plank and let our knees come down and into child pose as we sit back. Stretching hips to heels. Lengthening forward with the arms, or if you prefer, you can bring your arms back and next to your side, resting your forehead on the mat. And then taking our attention into our lungs. The majority of our lung capacity is actually in our back, not in the chest. So if we take a deep breath in through the nose, filling up the lungs, we'll feel a nice stretch in the intercostals. These are the muscles between the ribs. We're going to do a 4-7-8 breathing here, which means we're going to count 4 as we inhale, and then hold that breath in for 7 counts. As we hold the breath in, we're holding the stretch in the intercostals. And then exhale for 8 counts. This will create a relaxation response, and see if you can let a little more relaxation into the shoulders on the exhale. Do it again. Inhale 4 counts, breathing through the nose. Hold for 7, feel the stretch. Notice the concentration of expansion of breath in the back between the ribs, and exhale for 8 counts. Let your hands come forward if they aren't already, rising up onto all fours. And taking that opposite leg foot forward for your lunge, staying on the knee, and rocking back and forth. Saying hello to the hamstring, using the coordination of breath and movement to entrain the brain to what we would call an alpha frequency brainwave, a more relaxed, healing frequency that supports the body's internal medicine in being activated so that we actually get more out of our effort. Good. And one more time here, rocking back and forth. And then if you choose to, you can go into the static stretch and hold the stretch, or you can continue to rock back and forth, your choice. Use the props that support you. And again, take your attention to where you feel the most sensation rising up from the body. This is your body's, this is the actual true body language, is your sensation. Your body language to yourself, coming up through felt sense. And there's nothing to fix, change, or heal. It's just about being present with what you're noticing. Breathing. And witnessing. One more full breath here. And rising back into your lunge. Let's do that again with the 4-7-8 breathing into the ribs and the intercostals. We'll sit back in child. Again, arms can be extended in extended child or resting the forehead to the floor, wrapping the hands around towards the feet. Taking the breath in through the nose. Let's add a little piece here by lifting the tongue to the roof of the mouth as you inhale. Count to 4, fill up the back. Hold for 7, keep the tongue at the roof of the mouth. Exhale for 8 and drop the tongue. Inhale for 4, lift the tongue. Hold for 7, notice the stretch in the upper back, the intercostals. Drop the tongue, exhale for 8. And then do that one more time on your own, and I'll explain the advantage for lifting and lowering the tongue. So as we lift the tongue to the roof of the mouth and lower it, we create this mimicking of eating. And when we do that, the body produces saliva. And when we produce saliva, we bring moisture to the mouth. And bringing moisture to the mouth, we create a youthful effect on the body. Bring the hands forward and under the shoulders. So think about that. We're coming up onto all fours and into cat stretch. Undulating the spine, cat, cow, alternating a couple times. So think about brand new babies coming into the world. Their mouths are wet. They're drooling. They're youthful. They're alive. We want to bring that youthful aliveness into our body to create this energy of radiance, aliveness, and hydration. And so we can do that by lifting and lowering the tongue with our breathing to bring more moisture to the mouth. Now bring your spine to neutral, and we'll create what's called a C-shaped spine, bringing the head and tail on the right side towards each other. So we're not rotating the neck and looking back at the right foot. Your gaze is still down at your hand. Your ears coming to your shoulder. Your shoulder's turning towards your hip, and your hip is turning towards your shoulder, creating a C shape in the spine. This is a great stretch. Comes out of Pilates. Come back to the center. Inhale. And let's do the other side. C-shaped spine. Head and tail towards each other. Try not to rotate the neck. That's the hardest part of this. We all want to rotate the cervical. Try to keep it in a side bend and come back to the center. Good. Now, if it's comfortable for you, let's go ahead and cross the ankles and sit back. If not, just bring your knees together and bring your hips off to one side. We'll swing the legs out in front in whatever way is supportive for you to come to a seated position. And if you'd like to use a strap, you're welcome to use a strap here. I didn't happen to bring mine today, but you're definitely welcome to use yours. Let's draw the arms up, inhale. I know Colby usually uses a strap, I think, so hopefully you brought yours. Exhale forward, hinge from those hips. Try not to collapse at the waist. And we'll give ourselves a second chance here to enter this with a flat back as we lift up, lift the crown of the head. Exhale, fold forward. See if we can keep that back nice and flat. Good, use your strap if you need to. And then again, notice in these hamstrings, if one side is tighter than the other, if one side is speaking more loudly than the other. Just to pause and notice, not to create a story about it, just to notice and let it be what it is. Just awareness. And then slowly begin to lift the spine up one vertebrae at a time. Let the arms come up, shoulder level, back is flat. Now tilt the pelvis so we curve the low back and roll back part way. Now let your arms come out to the side. Of course, you can do this with the knees bent to modify, and your hands can also hook underneath the thighs. Good. And bring the spine back up, right. We're adding a little challenge for the core. As we reach back this time, let's roll ourselves all the way into the mat, but pausing part way. Let the arms float to the side. Feel the core trembling maybe a little bit, and bring the arms forward. I have a lot of people wanting to work on low back issues, so we can do that through stretching, but we can also do that by strengthening our core muscles. We want to add a little piece for that. Draw the knees into the chest. Give yourself a nice stretch here with that back. Releasing the feet to the floor, hip width apart. Let's draw the arms down next to the torso, palms down. And we're doing a little bit of a rocking motion with the pelvis, tilting it back and tilting it forward. Noticing as we tilt back, our low back makes contact and makes an impression into the earth. And as we tilt the pelvis forward, we create a little arch in the low back, creating some space. Do that a couple more times. And feeling the strength of your abdominals, your transverse abdominal, deep layer of abdominal strength, creating the movement in the pelvis. Your pelvis is considered one of the pumps in the body. We have 3 pumps in the body, the heart being one, obvious one, the pelvis, and then the calves, and that's what we're going to pump next. So pressing our feet into the earth and lifting our heels, good, and then pressing into the pads of the feet and lifting the hips. This will activate the calf muscles, and then releasing the spine down, releasing the heels down. Good. Now press the heels down and lift the toes and get a nice stretch on the ankles, and then repeat. Push into the heels, or excuse me, the pads. Lift the heels, lift the spine, and rock it back down, lengthening the spine as you lower. Dropping the heels, lifting the toes, and one more time. So walking is such an important aspect of health and circulation and moving lymph, because every time we contract the calf muscles, we pump the blood flow back to the heart. So this is our intention here. Releasing and drawing the knees to the chest. Give yourself a stretch. And one more time, circulating into the hips. Separate the knees. Create some circles here. Reverse direction. And then release the feet back down. Extend just the right leg and lift it up. Place your strap on your right leg if you're using a strap, or take the big toe if you're able to, or reach behind the calf muscle. Just hold that reclined leg stretch. Good. For those that want a little more and want to add a core strengthening effect to this, go ahead and slide your left leg straight, flex your foot. Take your left hand on your left quadricep, activate your quadricep, flex your left foot, lift your left leg, bring your chin to your chest, lifting your upper body off the floor. Look at the toes of your left foot as you draw the toes of your right foot back. And then bend the left knee and rest the right foot on top of the left thigh, flexing that right foot. Reach under and interlace the fingers underneath that thigh as you rest your upper body back into a reclined pigeon stretch. Noticing what's arising in awareness in the hip. Good, and release that stretch, crossing that right knee directly on top of the left knee. Bring both knees to the chest, slide your hands down to your shin and pull those knees up high into the chest. Again, internally rotating the hips and creating a nice stretch across the back of the sacrum. For those that want more, you can slide your hands down to the ankles and pull the ankles in. Even a little further down to the tops of the feet and pull and get a stretch on the tops of the feet. And then release and uncross the legs, bring the knees to the chest. Draw the arms out to the side and just rock across that low back, going into reclined twists, knees together, scoop up to the chest, over to the other side and down, creating a half circle arc with the knees tracing up over the chest and down to the hips. One more time. "40 minutes goes so fast. Jeez. Okay, we got to move on to the next leg. Bring yourself into a nice stretch for the back. Add a little more by lifting your chin to your chest. Create a ball if you'd like. Feel the stretch along the spine. Feel the intimate connection your body's having with its experience of combining breath. Relax the upper body. Good. And let's go ahead and drop the knees. Drop the feet to the earth. Extending the left leg and sweeping it up. Place the strap around the foot or find the position where your arm can support you. Hold recline leg stretch. Great. If you want more, extend the right leg. Flex the foot, activate the quadricep. Use your right hand. So as you're lifting your chin to your chest, coming up, looking at your right foot, lift the right leg, but use tension to push down with the right palm as you push up with the right leg. Create tension and pull everything in towards the core. Good. One more breath here. And release into reclined pigeon. Now let's let that upper body relax. And flex the foot on the left leg, protecting that knee. Draw in. For those that want more, you can take the leg straight and reach up, draw back. Work with whatever creativity you're inspired to introduce and integrate as a way to meet your body's flexibility uniquely as it's presenting itself. It could be different today than other days, so be present with who you are in this moment, not who you were last week or want to be next year, but right here, right now, what's presenting itself, desiring to be met as is. Notice what's arising in the hip. Take a couple more breaths and direct them right into the hip. Imagine seeing circulation opening up, visually seeing increased spaciousness, old patterns dissolving, new freedom emerging, and then release the stretch, cross the knee directly on top of each other, and then draw the knees into the chest, reach down, take the shins and pull in a little tighter. Whatever's comfortable here. Keep the shoulders relaxed. If you have the flexibility, slide your hands down a little lower to the ankles. And as you pull on the ankles, the legs will separate a little, taking the stretch deeper into the outer hip, maybe even the IT band. If you want even more, go down and pull down and back on those toes, stretching the fascia on the top of the foot. And then release the arms, uncross the legs, bring the knees to the chest. And again, let the arms come out wide, palms down, rocking across the low back, create some circles. Half circles, I should say. And getting ready to settle in. As we draw the knees to the chest this time, let the feet calm down. And bring the soles of the feet together as you externally rotate the hips this time. An external rotation opens the front of the pelvis and the inner thighs, but also puts some pressure on the sacrum and the low back. So be mindful of your position, prop yourself up as needed, and let your hands come down below your navel. We'll practice some belly breathing here as we breathe in through the nose. Let the tongue slide to the roof of the mouth. Hold the breath in for 7 counts. Fill the belly up and let the belly rise and expand, taking our awareness deeper into the body. Exhale for 8 counts and let the tongue drop, bringing moisture to the mouth, bringing heat to the hands and feet. Again, inhale, 4 counts. Tongue at the roof of the mouth with just the slightest bit of pressure, pointing upward towards the pineal gland in the center of the brain. That's your 7 count hold, and now we have an 8 count exhale. If you can exhale through the nose, nice and slow, that's good. If you need to, you can open your mouth, drop the tongue. One more round on your own. Now, sliding the feet away from the tailbone so the heels are together. And we're just going to glide the knife edge of the foot on the mat away from the tailbone and let the knees sink open and down and feel that stretch now. A little bit different angle here. And again, slide a little further away. Rest and pause and let the weight of gravity take you closer to earth. And notice this really interesting paradoxical relationship between gravity and levity. The more we allow gravity to have us and take us closer to the earth, the more levity we experience. So let the legs go straight now and separate the feet. And create any movement you need to in your body to adjust to a position that will allow you to rest for a few moments and just pure awareness of what's arising. And as we go into this, we'll enter through something called progressive relaxation. Curl the toes, curl the fingers, tighten the feet, tighten the hands, and tighten up the legs and up the arms, tighten everything. Lift the arms and legs and relax as you exhale. Good, we'll do that again. This time we'll take it beyond the arms and legs and tighten the torso. Here we go. Curl the toes, curl the fingers, tighten the legs, tighten the arms, lift the arms and legs, tighten the torso, engage your core, lift your chin to your chest, tighten, squeeze everything together, tighten, curl into a ball, tighten, tighten, and exhale. Open up like a flower to the sun. Receive the light, receive the grace, and feel the energy and the blood flow returning to all the muscles, all the joints and the ligaments as you rest for just a few moments in the perfect spot. All right, friends, sorry to keep your relaxation short, but we've to be moving on. Let's rotate wrists and ankles, create movement in the hands and feet. Return that movement towards the center by bending the knees and elbows, wrapping the arms around the knees. Give yourself a nice hug. Appreciate your body for everything it does to allow you to be here. Come onto your side, roll onto your side facing me. And we'll finish with a quad stretch, since the quads don't get the attention they really deserve, and they haven't yet today. So bring the knee alignment to the hip. Take the hand, slide it down the shin to the top of the foot, and bring that leg back. Feeling a nice stretch down the top of the thigh. Extend that leg straight. Bring your free hand in front of your chest, rise on up. Come up to a seated position. Draw that opposite foot in, and we'll go just into a side bend here, reaching towards that toe. Come on up. Good. Bring the hand over, and let's just come up onto the knee if that feels good for a side bend in the opposite direction. Scoop under, look back. Rise up, inhale. Expand the chest. Feel the front body getting a nice stretch. And then sink back down into seated. Draw your knees together. Rolling across. And we'll switch sides. Come into a sideline position. As we take the hand to the shin and draw that knee back. Try to keep the knee level with the hip. We don't want to be lifting it up and externally rotating the hip. The maximum benefit of this quad stretch will be if you keep that knee lined up. Hip distance away from the floor. Feels good. The knees a little bit back behind the hip, you get a better stretch. Extend the leg. Take your free hand. Bring yourself up. Come into your side bend. Try to reach the elbow to the inside of the knee so we can stack these shoulders and get a nice length on our side body. Again, opening the sides of the ribs. And then we'll come up and over, big circle, hand to the floor. If it's safe, come up onto your knee as you reach over. If not, stay on your seat. Your choice here, reach over. And we're adding a little gentle twist to the spine as we dive under. Thread that needle, reach the arm through the opposite arm and the torso, and then rise up, inhale, draw the arm behind the shoulder, expand, and show me your heart, big open. Space across the chest, and then come back. to seated. Bring your feet in, cross leg. Wonderful job, everyone. Take the arms overhead, big breath in. Go ahead and exhale. Imagine pulling energy down and into your core, energizing yourself for the day. Turn the palms up, elbows back, reach back. Rotate the wrists so the fingers point towards the rib cage. Press the arms back. Feel the stretch on the front of the shoulders. Good. Wrap the arms around, backs of the hands together. Pull the hands towards the heart. Reset the shoulders. Good. Spin the hands so that they come together in prayer position at the heart. And bow in humility and gratitude. Namaste. Thank you so much for showing up for yourself and for being here with me. It's my pleasure to be with you today and to help Colby out. Let's see, get my glasses here. How did it go for everybody?
It was wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome. So glad I could be here with you. I do have an appointment, so I have to run. Is there anyone I haven't met yet? I think I see all of you. Hi, Lee. Yi. Hi.
Thank you, dear.
You're welcome.
So much.
I look forward to seeing you in person soon, I hope.
Yeah, very soon. I love you. Have a beautiful day, everyone.
You too. Thanks for being here, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you again.
Bye-bye for now.
Bye.